everybody, and welcome to the Absolutely Completely Random Podcast. Well, actually, a very special Absolutely Completely Random Podcast because, well, today's September 2nd, 2017, and that means that the podcast is 1 year old! Woo! Yes! I finally made it a year! Holy shit, I didn't think it was going to be possible. First of all, I'd like to thank everybody. I'm not going to pull a Sally Field 1980s acceptance speech, but I'd like to thank everybody out there for making this, at least for giving me a reason to do this every single week. So thank you so much. But I have a few things to do. But for starters, it's time, folks. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1... Yahtzee! What do you think? The brand new, absolutely completely random podcast logo. Pretty damn cool, huh? I think so. Anyway, I know that there are 52 videos in the podcast playlist on YouTube, but I'm going by September to September, so it is 1 year. And I have a lot of things to talk about this week. I'm going to be talking about Alfred Clausen, getting fired from The Simpsons after 27 years! Ouch! Brock and Misty are returning to the Pokemon anime for a 2-episode special. That's right, they're coming back! That's going to be fun. Gundam Versus is previewing the Zeta Gundam and Stardust Memory characters in new videos. Street Fighter 2 is getting a special SNES cartridge release. It's getting a brand new one. That's pretty impressive. Toonami's adding an extra half an hour of programming. Thank God. Pokemon Go is getting the 3 legendary dogs. Just when you thought the game was dead and in the water. Nope. And Star Wars Rebels Season 4 trailer has been dropped. So Season 4, the last season, is coming. That's right. And I'm also going to be talking about the newest update to Marvel Contest of Champions, Update 15.0. Oh boy, does it have some issues. But anyway, all this and everything in between, all on the Absolutely Completely Random Podcast. So before we go any further, you know what the deal is. If you're looking for oddities, strange things, what have you, A-Roads 2012 on eBay. I have a wide variety of stuff. Since it is the 1st of September, or at least the first couple days of September, I can put up new stuff, so there'll be new stuff coming up. So yeah, check it out. You never know, the holidays are right around the corner. I mean, now's a good time to be picking up stuff that you know somebody might be interested in. I mean, take a real good look and get it now, because the holidays are coming. You don't want to be one of those people stressing at the last second to find something. But anyway, you can look for all this stuff and check me out on eBay at A-Roads-2012 on eBay. And I'm also on Twitter at OtakerRoads, so feel free to follow me. Alright, so this week has been a freaking train wreck of excitement and what have you crap this week. For starters, I'm having issues with my internet. Again! It's nothing new, right? So internet issues. I'm having problems with other things. But one of the main things that we seem to be having issues with is the cars. The car situation here. But let me, before I get into that, there is one thing I do want to announce. I did say something about this a couple podcasts ago. I want to say like maybe a month or two ago, give or take. I did say something about my one coworker, my one supervisor, I should say, announced to a lot of people that she was expecting a first child. I can happily report that she had the baby. That's right, a new life has been brought into the world this past Wednesday morning. And there's a really funny story behind this. It's really hilarious. Apparently, She went in. Apparently, her water broke while she was at work, which was actually the worst fear that my one coworker and I had. And happily, it happened the day before. I mean, we're not happy that it happened at work, but we're happy that it happened at work and we weren't there because we were kind of nervous as to what do we do. Though my mom said I should just watch a couple how do you birth a child videos on YouTube and do some quick studying. But unfortunately, I don't see OBGYN in my future. Sorry, Mom. That ain't going to happen. But anyway, happily, last I heard, her and the new little one are doing very well. So that's good. At least the last that I heard anyway. So, yeah, that's really great news that have happened. But, I mean, my one coworker and I were just nervous. Like, okay, she's going to have the baby here at work. And it was close. It really was. But congratulations to her. Enjoy being a parent, enjoy being a mom. I'm looking forward to being a parent myself someday. Of course, I'm going to have to wait till they invent the robotic girlfriends for that because, me dating is never going to be easy. Nor fun, nor good. But anyway, there's that. I found out earlier today that James Rolfe, the angry video game nerd, also became a father again. To a little girl, so that's really cool. Yet to think, it's funny that I was just recently watching a lot of his older videos, and I'm like, crap, he's a father. And I'm watching these older videos, and I'm like, he's a father. You just don't picture him as a father when you're watching the angry video game nerd videos. I mean, wow. But yeah, there's that. But anyway, the piece de resistance. If you ever saw the Marvel short, A Funny Thing Happened on the Way to Thor's Hammer, you're going to know where I'm going with this. So, in that, Agent Coulson's going to New Mexico, stops at a convenience store gets robbed, or is getting robbed. He takes out the robbers and tells the store clerk after she asks, well, what do I tell the police or the cops when they get here? He goes, tell them I think it was either the Tybo or the spin classes are really working out. I think it was Tybo are really paying off, and leaves. Well, my story's nothing like that. So what ended up happening was my mom and I were going down to our favorite convenience store earlier tonight, and we go out to the cemetery. We have like this little ritual of how we do this. We go out to the cemetery. We stop, visit my grandmother for a little bit. Then we go down to the convenience store. And what happened was, as we're driving in the cemetery, we're going along the path, and all of a sudden, I'm thinking, the car's just like not driving right. Like something was off with the car. So then we go a little ways, and we're coming to this little turn, and all of a sudden I hear this ton 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 ton. I'm like, what the hell? Because we're thinking, well, let's go around this and go back to the parking lot, and we'll check the car out there, because we were a little further ways up by the time I realized, hey, there's something wrong, or hey, something doesn't feel right. And I couldn't just back up and go down to the parking lot. So we get up a little bit, and it's like, oh. So my mom quick gets out, as I'm in the driver's seat. She quick gets out and checks the car, only to find out that the one tire's flat. It's every driver's worst nightmare, the tire's flat. So I turn the car off, put it in park, shut the car off, turn the lights off, go to the back. She got the spare tire out. She got the little tiny piss ass jack out. The tire iron out, which I have to admit is a lot better than the one that we used to have for the older car. And I'm changing the tire in the rain. And she's taking the one umbrella that we have in the car, and she's trying to keep me dry. And the whole time she's doing this, I'm bent over, jacking the car up, cursing under my breath because this jack is being a pain in the ass. And I'm going, this is not easy. I'm not enjoying this. And it's just impressive how things happen, because she's trying to keep me dry. She's inadvertently getting me wet at the same time, because unbeknownst to her, the umbrella is collecting tremendous amounts of water, and as she leans it one direction to try to help keep me a little drier, because my t-shirt's riding up a little bit. I'm a tall person, so my t-shirt will ride up a little bit in the back if I'm bent over, and my whole back, my underwear, my ass, back of my shorts, they're getting wet. So she's trying to keep me dry. She's inadvertently tilting the umbrella a little bit, and the water's just cascading right off the umbrella, right on the left side of me. My left arm, my left side of my body is just completely getting drenched. And she's not realizing this, but I am. She's like, I'm trying to keep your head dry. I go and take my little sweater that I have, my little jacket type sweater. Quick, put it over. Quick, pull the back part over my head. I go, okay, head's dry. Worry about my back now. As I'm still trying to jack the car up. About 20 minutes later, we got the spare tire on. We're on our way. The tire, though, has a nail in it. Not the spare tire, the one we had to take off. So that's going to be a fun thing to get fixed this week. But otherwise, yeah, it was an interesting day, to say the least. But anyway, yeah, that was my week. I know my story's not as exciting as Coulson's, but still, for me, that's actually kind of impressive. I mean, it could have been worse. It could have been snowing. But this is the 5th flat tire I've ever had. First one with this new car, but this is the 5th flat tire I've ever had. But I hate flat tires. But anyway, let's get into the podcast and let's get things started, shall we? Okay, so since this is the 1-year anniversary of the podcast, I thought I'd give those of you that are still new to the podcast a bit of an update as to how everything went along. I know this isn't how certain topics that I've talked about have gone along. I did not have enough time to research and look into all that. Believe me, I didn't. But anyway, when I originally started this podcast, it was back in 2016, one of the worst years. Everyone in the world, especially in the United States, everyone in the world was saying that 2016 was one of the worst years. A tremendous amount of celebrities passed away. You had, George Michaels passed away. God, what the hell was her name? Princess Leia. I can't. Her name escapes me at the moment, and it's pissing me. It's driving me nuts. Carrie Fisher! There it is. Carrie Fisher, you had her. She passed away. Bill Paxton passed away. Last year was just the year of death. For me, it was the year of nightmares because we had my mom's old car. We used to have a 2001 Mercury Sable, and last year it crapped out on us. The transmission went. We went through a good, and that was like in January. We went through a good 8 months of a living hell with cars. We only had one vehicle, and that was after like a month. We had one vehicle that worked. So for like an entire month to like a month and a half, we had no vehicle that worked. And it really sucked. But anyway, so things go on. Things got bad. And one Saturday night, I'm sitting, ironically, in my room like I do every Saturday night. And I'm thinking to myself, I want to try a podcast. In the back of my mind, and I'll be honest, I was thinking about trying to do this to try to get a little bit of extra scratch coming in. Because I was unemployed at the time. I didn't have a job. At the time, I had no working vehicle, so I had no prospect to find a job because I had no way to get there. And I'm thinking to myself, this could be good and bad at the same time. So I'm like, you know what? I want to try a podcast. And I was inspired by the completely unnecessary podcast that Pat Contry and Ian Ferguson host. So what I did was I sat in front of my laptop, and at the time it was the same laptop I use now. I hooked up my microphone, and I started recording. And the original podcast, I actually aired the first 4 episodes on a site called SoundCloud, which after 3 hours, you have to pay in order to use their service anymore. I did not know this when I signed up, and I ended up using up the 3 hours that you get for free. And it's like if I wanted to upload anything else, I had to buy more time. And I'm like, you know what? That's going to not be a good idea because at the time, I really didn't have any money coming in. So it's like, yeah, I'm not going to spend the money for, it was like $20 for, I think it was like maybe 20 minutes. Because SoundCloud is mostly where people go and put like 3-minute songs. So you can get like 30 to 40 songs on SoundCloud for the 3 hours you get for free. So the first 3 episodes of the podcast were up on there. Episode 4 went up, and then episode 1 had to come down, which I didn't know until I started getting emails. All of a sudden, it's like, yeah, your podcast has, your freebies are up. So I had to scramble for a whole new way to put the podcast up, and that was like 5 episodes in. I'm like, man, this is really getting wonky here. So I had to come up with a new idea, and that's where I came to YouTube. So this all kind of happened in a good way. Because ever since then, I've been here on YouTube. And me recording the podcast every single week has actually become so much of a staple that I actually branched off into other videos. Andrew Rants, Andrew's Theories, I do Andrew Reviews. I did do Andrew Unwraps, though I don't really plan to do any more of those, or if I do, it's going to be like once in a blue moon. But yeah, I mean, coming to YouTube was a much better idea, because like, you know what, I can do YouTube. YouTube is where a lot of people go and do some creative things. But it's just impressive how one event changes the entire outlook of everything. And ever since then, I've been here with everybody. So I just wanted to get that out, because we're at the 1-year point of the podcast. I've been up for an entire year. In fact, it'll be September 3rd was the original podcast date. And I actually uploaded it the same day I recorded it on SoundCloud. So it'll actually be impressive that I can upload the podcast on YouTube the very same day that I actually recorded the very first podcast. So that's really impressive to me, because this goes up on a Sunday, and tomorrow's Sunday, tomorrow's the 3rd. So it's really cool. So I just wanted to get that out there and give everybody a little lesson as to where I am now. I mean, what's going to happen? I mean, I'm personally hoping I hit maybe 5 years. Yes, I see that being very far out there. I mean, people are going to eventually get sick and tired of hearing me. YouTube and everything else in the world will probably die off at some point. I don't know. But anyway, I'm hoping that I'll be here for another 5 years. So, you know, everybody, so I got some Dr. Pepper left in my cup. So let's have a little toast here quick, if we may, to the absolutely completely random podcast. May it last another 5 years. And may I hit 6 years then, because I'll be on for another 5, so I'll be 6 total, because I'm already at the 1 year. Cheers. And with that, now I can officially say, let's get into the podcast 100% now. Okay, so Star Wars Rebels, it's sort of a really neat animated series. Disney XD has been blowing this thing up like crazy, and it is well deserved. The first 2 seasons were about the best. I will admit that. I haven't been able to watch them all, because when we got rid of cable, watching them sort of became do I really want to try to find it online to watch it? No. Okay, then screw that then. But I did find some clips in that of episodes on YouTube, and the 3rd season, I kind of think that's where it started going to pot. At least for me personally, the 3rd season's kind of where it went to pot. Well, the 4th and final season is coming up, It's going to be starting on October 16th with a 1-hour episode, like it's always done. So it's basically 2 episodes in one day, which is not too bad. But this was released yesterday for Force Friday 2. And it's a brand new trailer for Star Wars Rebels. It's actually pretty cool. I did manage to get a chance to check that out a little bit while I was waiting. Well, I was waiting for a couple things to come up. So that's actually pretty cool. But anyway, here's what we get, though. The new preview is loaded with a ton of epic moments and teases for the new season and feature classic characters like Mon Mothma, Saw Gerrera, Grand Moff Tarkin, and the return of Grand Admiral Thrawn. Again, completely unknown here to me. I mean, I do know Star Wars to a point, but not that big of a deal. We also get a good look at the Death Troopers from Rogue One, the cracks between Mon Mothma and Saw Gerrera's ideologies, and even get a name drop of director Krennic's Stardust project. And they also get their first. You also got a first glimpse of the fleet of X-wing starfighters. So yeah, this is definitely taking place after the third movie of the original trilogy, or sorry, of the prequels, and then before A New Hope of the original trilogy. So it's actually pretty cool. The trailer made it clear that Rebels is going to be bigger and bolder in its final slate of episodes. Which, in all honesty, like I said, is welcome. Because the third season, in my opinion, is where they've jumped the shark and the show went to pot. Embracing aspects of the Star Wars lore that has since become so popular. Well, that's the whole point. It's a Star Wars, thing here. But anyway, the article goes on to say it, let's see. Tarkin positions himself as a political chess player in the clip, mentioning that Thrawn's lack of results might give way to the Empire prioritizing Krennic's death. Whatever. You can find the whole article if you want to read it. I'm not going to go into detail on it to blow a lot of the stuff out of the way. But you can go, you can read the whole thing for yourself. It's on comicbook.com. Really interesting article. I mean, it's kind of really cool. But, I mean, one thing I will touch on here goes, as for the crew themselves, Hera and Kanan Jarrus have a couple of moments. The first, when he accuses his maybe girlfriend of not putting any thought to their relationship. Well, if memory serves, you're a Jedi, Kanan. That means you're supposed to be emotionless, not supposed to feel love or any of that crap. Yeah, I know, it's funny every time I think about it too, right? Towards the end, he tells her that he wishes he could see her, and she caresses his cheek, telling him, "You could always see me." Because for those of you that didn't know, Kanan lost his sight. He was blinded by a lightsaber, so he is blind, and it kind of hurt Hera. I do remember seeing that clip when she saw him and he couldn't see her. His eyes were bandaged up. She knew something bad had happened. So that's never a good sign. But, yeah, it's pretty impressive. It's going to be the conclusion of the series, so check it out. And like I said, if you want to read the whole article, check it out. It's on comicbook.com. I highly recommend reading it. I also highly recommend checking out the show, but I recommend checking out the first 2 seasons and not season 3 unless you're really desperate or you really want to try, because season 3, like I said, is where they kind of jump the shark. You're listening to the Absolutely Completely Random Podcast. At least I hope you still are. Are you? All right. Let's talk about Toonami. Good old Toonami. Toonami for me was actually what got me into the anime scene full time. Because originally, I'd only gotten started with Sailor Moon, Dragon Ball Z. And unbeknownst to me, my very first ever anime was actually Samurai Pizza Cats. I actually thought it was a cartoon. No, it's an anime series. So that was my very first ever anime series with Samurai Pizza Cats. That's actually pretty cool to know. But anyway, it was officially announced this week that Toonami is getting an extra half hour. Woo-hoo-hoo! So it's going to be ending at, oh God. What'll it be ending at now? Let's see here. Oh, it's still ending at 3:30. It's just going to be starting at 11. Oh, God. So let me give you a little rundown on Toonami here quick for what happened over the last few decades, or at least a couple years anyway. 2012, Toonami came back after being put out of its misery by Cartoon Network because they claimed that it was losing ratings. But what's funny is that they stuck it on a Saturday night only. Now, I did watch it. Originally, it was like 6 hours. Wait, hold on. No, scratch that. 4 hours. It was originally 4 hours long. Went from 7 o'clock to 11 o'clock. And I was fine with that because it had, weird shows on. It had Duel Masters, Rave Master, and a few other shows on. And it always usually ended with like Dragon Ball Z or One Piece was what rounded out the night. Well, it got taken down in 2000 and I want to say 8 or 9. Wait, hold on. 8, because it was just after the 11-year anniversary. So 2008 it got taken out. September 2008 it was its final broadcast. Then Adult Swim did a April Fool's joke, putting Tom and the Absolution, or at least, yeah, I think it was the Absolution. It was the second version of it that they got from the webcomic. They ended up putting that up on for the April Fool's thing. And all that basically did was just, I guess, in Cartoon Network's idea, or at least Adult Swim's, was to see, okay, let's see how many people still have a nostalgia boner for this. See if we can't drum up some interest. Well, it worked. Way better than they ever thought it would. And they announced, yeah, we're bringing it back, and it came back then later that year. Ironically, like in, I want to say June or July, it came back. Like maybe end of May, beginning of June, or into July it came back. So it wasn't long, and it came back. It just felt like an eternity. And it was welcomed with open arms, and it kept going for the longest time. Then came the tragedies. It started getting its time slots sliced. Originally, it ran from 12 a.m. to 6 a.m., covering the entire 6 hours in between, for Adult Swim Saturday nights. And it was all anime. It went to about, I want to say, 2 or 3 a.m. and then restarted the whole thing. And the night ended off with like an hour of Inuyasha. Well, then they ended up changing up the format. Got cut by half an hour 1 week. Then the next week it got cut. It was going to get cut again by half an hour. Then they ended up just cutting it down by a good 2 hours and knocked it down to like 3:30 or 3 a.m. I think it was 3:30 yet. And that's where it's been ever since. It started then, then at that point, by the time it got cut, it was starting at 11:30 because that was the result of Space Dandy coming on to the show. And a lot of people were going, well, yeah, with the advent of the internet, you can just easily look up everything online. I'm like, okay, I want to watch this program or I want to watch this series. Yeah, I'll just look it up online. I don't want to actually have to sit down and deal with Toonami, have to wait on a Saturday night for old shows that have been on before that I could just pull up on the computer and watch anytime I want. I understand that. But you also have to remember that there is a nostalgia factor with this, because it doesn't always just have to do with the older shows that are on this. They also have up some pretty cool stuff in between, like Tom or Sarah reviews a game that's out. They give you like some inspirational words. They have had a few mini events. The Intruder 2, which is out really beautifully made, by the way. Was the Intruder 2. The Intruder was the original Toonami. They recently just finished up the Intruder 3. I'm looking forward to the Intruder 4 if it ever gets announced. There's been rumors about it, but nothing concrete. So, yeah, I mean, that's really impressive. But anyway, so starting next week, Cowboy Bebop is apparently coming back. At least, yeah. So what happened was Cowboy Bebop stopped airing and it's coming back again. But here's the thing. The time slots and the schedule has been all jacked up again. So it's going now, ironically, I think it actually starts at 11:30 again and it goes to 3:30. So you're still getting about 4 hours worth of stuff. But it got cut, according to Adult Swim, back when they first did it, because of ratings that were going downhill. Well, yeah, nobody's up at 2 in the morning on a Sunday morning. I mean, the only reason why I would be up that early is if I had to go to work Sunday morning. That's the only reason why I would be up at 2 in the damn morning, is if I had to go to work. But it's still kind of interesting, but yet kind of annoying. I personally think Adult Swim cut it because they wanted to put more of what I like to call stoner programming on. Programming that the only way in hell you're going to understand it is you got to be high. And I mean high. We're talking baked out of your mind, plastered off your ass, basically some freshman college hippie high. I mean, we're talking like 1980s. Hey, look, they just discovered LSD high. To understand any of the stoner programming that Adult Swim puts out. I mean, okay, I understand Rick and Morty because I've been watching that off and on. I can pull it up episodes and clips. So I understand that. But some of their other programming, you have to be high to understand, especially the late night stuff. Because, yeah, it was crap. The show was originally cut off of Cartoon Network so that they could focus more money to Adult Swim so they could produce more content to get more people to join in the show. Yeah, that got you Tim and Eric's Awesome Show, great job. That show was stupid. That is the perfect example of stoner programming. But I'm getting off topic on this. So, starting next week, starting September 9th, the schedule will be for Toonami as follows. At 11 p.m., you get Dragon Ball Super, the dub version. Yes, I know, for all you people out there that have been bitching and complaining, but I don't want to watch it subbed, yeah, I'm willing to put up with the Japanese voice of Goku, so can you. And guess what? I'm further ahead than you. So for you that were complaining and waiting, I'm actually up pretty far ahead. I'm enjoying the show. Yes, I got to put up with the Japanese voice of Goku. I understand. I mean, she doesn't do a bad job. It's just that I can't see her voice coming out of Goku. That's what bothers me. It just doesn't fit the person. But then again, I haven't watched the whole series of Dragon Ball Z subbed. So it's probably something you have to get used to by watching it over and over and over again. But there's that. So 11 p.m. is Dragon Ball Super. 11:30 is Dragon Ball Z Kai, which would probably be the final chapters if they don't restart the damn thing and go back to the beginning, which, well, let's face it, the final chapters were pretty much the Boo Saga, and we've been waiting for that here in the U.S., hell, for donkey's years. At least I was, because I remember watching that on a Saturday morning on Vortex and whatever the hell else the CW had on, because that's what I watched it on Saturday morning, whatever they limped to the barn with before Saturday morning cartoons were obliterated. So you have that. 12 a.m. is JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Stardust Crusaders. Not a big fan of the series, so I don't really care. 12:30 a.m. Tokyo Ghoul. Heard of it, never watched it. 1 a.m. is Hunter x Hunter. 1:30 is Lupin the Third. 2 a.m. Naruto Shippuden. 2:30 Outlaw Star. 3 a.m. Cowboy Bebop. And at 3:30, Attack on Titan Season 2 rounds out your night. Then afterwards, you can wake up your older brother or your older sister or anybody that you know that's probably a stoner and say, hey, Adult Swim's regular programming's coming back on. You can go get high and watch it now on TV. By the way, just to stress this, I don't condone any of that. So, don't get high listening to stuff. I don't condone this. I don't want to have somebody go, oh, but they told me to. No. I don't condone it. I'm just making a joke fact here or just pointing out something. So please don't take it seriously. But anyway, so there is that. But anyway, I really got to stop saying it. So that's what it is. I would personally like it to go back to a full 6 hours. In my opinion, Adult Swim had something really great on their hands if they would have just funneled a little more cash into it to get the licensing rights for some better series. And yes, I will admit that. With the advent of simuldubs, simulcasting, and stuff like that, yes, watching them online will beat watching it on television. But you still have those people, the younger generation, whose parents actually care, mind you, and don't want their child on the internet 24/7, 24/7, will not mind them watching or at least TiVoing or DVRing Toonami to watch on Sunday or during the week. That's what they should have focused on. It's like, okay, we know we're not going to get many people, but hey, let's focus on getting them to record the stuff. They'll still watch it. I mean, I used to tape programs at night that when I was going to elementary, middle, and high school that I knew I wasn't going to be able to stay up and watch. And I would, record them on a VHS tape and then watch them, the next day in the afternoon or over the weekend. I mean, my grandmother recorded, is at the one point when I was in high school, I got into a soap opera. Don't ask me how. And she recorded it for me during the day, and I binge-watched 5 hours of it on a Saturday. I mean, I literally started at like 10 in the morning, and I watched it straight through to 5 o'clock, like 3:30, 5 o'clock. So I binge-watched it, an entire week's worth of episodes in, one sitting. Skipping through the commercials, I binge-watched it. So, yeah. But anyway, like I said, Toonami going back to its full 6-hour schedule will be something that I personally think would be a great asset to the genre. Maybe come up with some original programming like a special 30-minute Toonami, thing where each episode's different. I know that would cost a lot because, hell, CGI ain't cheap. But still, that's something to look into. I mean, coming up with, some original Toonami programming or, an original Toonami series might not be a bad idea. And just lump that in on one, let's say, let's go with, hypothetically, you lose the licensing rights to, let's say, Naruto. And all of a sudden you hear, you have an opening in a time slot. Okay, what do we put there? Well, you could easily either go find another anime series, fight to get the licensing rights, pay the absorbent amount of money, or simply create your own programming and stick it there. It's not really that difficult of a concept, but it just baffles my mind that you haven't thought about looking into that. I mean, even trying a low-grade version, seeing if you can make a 30-minute episode might not be a bad idea. Or even 2 15-minute episodes and call it, Tom's Adventures. I mean, that wouldn't be too bad in my opinion. Give it a shot. But anyway, so for you Toonami fans like myself that are out there, but for most of the ones that still watch it, I don't have cable. But for those of you that still watch it, it's still going strong. Seems pretty good to me. And it's getting an extra half hour starting next Saturday. So that's something to look forward to. And I'm just excited about it. That proves that Toonami isn't dead, and that's a good thing. Alrighty, so who remembers the good old days of the Super Nintendo Entertainment System? Well, if you said no, then you better check yourself for a pulse, because a lot of people probably still do. But anyway, if you were a fan of Street Fighter 2, good news! It's getting a new SNES cartridge release. That's right. Which is actually pretty cool. But anyway, the retailer I Am 8-Bit announced this week it is working with Capcom to release a new edition of Street Fighter 2 for the Super Nintendo Entertainment System, SNES, in late November. Retrotainment Games is manufacturing the SNES cartridge, which will come with an instruction booklet, embossed box, and retro in-pack surprises. Ooh! The hell does that even mean? The game costs $100, and there will be only 5,500 made. Of these, 4,500 will be red-covered cartridges, while the remaining 1,000 will be glow-in-the-dark green. With different colors, the different colors will be distributed randomly to customers. So you're paying $100 for the chance to get either a red or glow-in-the-dark green if you hit the lottery on this one. Street Fighter 2 debuted in arcades back in 1991 and was later ported to the SNES. The game was recently inducted in the Strong's Video Game Hall of Fame. And let's not forget, the mini SNES Classic is going to include Street Fighter 2 Turbo Hyper Fighting, while the Japanese mini Super Famicom will include Street Fighter 2. So for those of you that still own a good old-fashioned SNES or Super Nintendo, good news! You'll have a chance to get a really rare copy of a game that you probably already own. And you get to pay $100. This is definitely geared to the retro gamers out there. And that's... I kind of see people scalping the shit out of this. 5,500 of them are being made. 4,500 are going to be red. That last 1,000 are going to be scalped like crazy. I mean, they're going to be distributed randomly, but I just find it ironic that you're going to get 1,000 of them that are glow-in-the-dark green mixed in with 4,500 that are one color. So you're effectively going, well, if we manage to screw this up, it'll be a miracle. Yeah, it will be. But what's going to end up happening, and I'm sad to say this, is that you're going to end up having it go one of three ways. Either you're going to sell a lot of these and people are going to buy X amount of them, so you have to put some type of a limit on it. They're going to get scalped like crazy. And you know that somebody is going to buy half a dozen of these just to try to get one of those 1,000 glow-in-the-dark green to scalp that like a shitload of crazy on eBay. So, and also, this is what bothers me. This is a game that's already been released. Because I'm pretty sure this has been released. I'm pretty damn well sure Street Fighter 2 has been released. So you're releasing a game that's already out, giving it a brand new look, charging $100 for it, which I think is pretty much the going rate for the copy of it now, but don't quote me on it. And you're going to have that and put that up online. Brilliant idea! You know what else you should do while you're at it? How about you create a solid gold Nintendo World Chip... Oh, too late, already done that. Let's see. I got it. A golden... Wait for it. Wait for it. Wait for it. Super Mario Duck Hunt! Because you know people want to buy that. This is honestly something that somebody is just stupid enough to make. That $100 cost that somebody's going to buy for like 7 or 8 of these, or maybe even 20 of them, they'll drop $2,000 to get 20 of these. And they will, if they get any of those green ones, so you instantly know the red ones are going to get scalped for at least almost $400. The green ones will probably be about $700 to $1,000 even. It's sad. It's just really, really sad how mighty the world has fallen. I mean, God, that's just horrible and sad.
This is Professor Sherman T. Clump. And I'd like to congratulate Andrew for hitting the 1-year anniversary of the Absolutely Completely Random podcast. I'm sorry I'm not able to be there today with you in person, however, I'm a little busy at the moment.
Number 5, your table is ready.
You did not hear that. But I just want to say I'd like to thank Andrew for having me on his podcast every now and then.
Number 16, your order's up.
And I would just like to thank Andrew and thank you, the audience out there, for having me every single time I come on and allowing me my brief moment of levity with my topics and my sultry voice as I constantly help Andrew out on the podcast. And Andrew, here's to another couple years, and I'll make sure I come around a little more often this time. Because Clump wants to be in charge, you know what I mean?
Number 16, your order is ready.
Yeah, I heard you the first time. I mean, like I said, Andrew, congratulations on making it 1 year on the podcast. Yeah, Clump is in charge. I'm coming.
Well, what type of a podcast would this be if I don't talk about Pokemon at some point in time, right? Well, apparently a pretty damn boring one. Well, for those of you out there that miss Brock and Misty from the original Pokemon series, yeah, don't worry, I do too. Well, guess what? They're coming back after 15 years. Though I swear it would be longer for Misty because she left at the end of Johto. She left before Ash even went to Hoenn. I mean, they had a swan song for her and everything. Yeah, but anyway. An article that I found, I'm pretty sure it was from Otaku USA. Unlike Ash, fans experienced some growing pains with the start of Pokemon Sun and Moon television series. Yeah, because they had to say goodbye to Serena after 140 episodes. Which, let's face it, she was the best chance Ash had of getting laid. I'm sorry. I'll get it out there. She was the best chance he had. She liked him. She loved him. I think if her and Misty would have gotten in the same room, they would have beaten the shit out of each other. All over Ash. So trust me, this is something that was a definite. He had a way better chance with her, didn't take it. But on top of that, we also, or at least the fans, I shouldn't say we, but then again, I have watched clips of this, also had to adjust to drastic character design changes. Yes, we all remember Ash becoming his dopey cousin. I mean, what person thought that was a good idea should literally get their pay cut by $8,000 a month? They should be in the negative zone. Like, you could have cost us a lot. No, you even getting lucky isn't even worth it. But for those of us who grew up with the series, yeah, let's hold the nostalgia torch for a moment for Ash's original companions, Brock and Misty. We remember them, the leader of the Pewter and Cerulean City gyms, respectively. Well, the wait is finally over for their return. The anime will reintroduce Brock and Misty to a whole new audience for 2 consecutive episodes beginning on September 14th. Brock formally left the show after the Diamond and Pearl anime concluded in 2010. Now, he left to become a doctor. And it was actually a little before the end of Diamond and Pearl, because there was like 2 episodes left when he left. So let's get that a little right. But yeah, close to the end. He left to become a Pokemon doctor after the events of a certain episode kind of triggered the, I could be a doctor for Pokemon. This definitely sounds like a good idea. So he left after Diamond and Pearl, because that's when the series started to really take a nosedive. When Black and White came out, I've said it multiple times. In the slew of Pokemon anime series, you always have three things. You have Ash going to the gym battles, Ash going to the league, Ash losing in the league. Those are the three constant standards in this. And each one got different, but the one season was literally a complete write-off. I mean, that entire ending was a middle finger to the fans that had put up with it for so long. That was a literal middle finger to us. And that was Black and White. When he literally got his ass whooped in the Pokemon League to a person that only had five Pokemon on his team for a match that involved 6. All Ash had to do was beat his Rolo that evolved into Lucario. But he didn't have the strength to do it. And yeah, he couldn't do it. This kind of sucks. But anyway, Brock left the show in 2010 at the end of Diamond and Pearl, or after Diamond and Pearl. The article says it was actually a little before the end. And Misty left earlier at the end of the Johto League, which was part of the original. Not actually the original, because the original only went to the end of the Kanto League, if you think about it. Because then Johto Journeys started up that, and the three of them were together again after Brock came back from Professor Ivy's place. Go figure on that one. That's the Orange Islands, and nobody needs to understand that. But, see, that was 2000. Yeah, okay, so it would be longer for Misty. I was right. They're going 15 years. Yeah, it'd be 15 years for Misty, but only 7 years for Brock. So Brock lasted 8 more years than she did. So yeah, I knew there was a time difference in there. Thank you, article, for proving me right. But both characters haven't appeared in the show together in 15 years. True. Even the recent Pokemon movie, I Choose You, that recounts the beginning of Ash's journey, completely threw them out on the wayside. Didn't include either of the characters. It's like, Misty, Brock, see my middle finger? We ain't doing them. Tell them to sit and spin. So getting to see the good old team together again, it's going to be fun and entertaining, definitely. The gang's getting together again. We're getting the band back together. Misty's voice actress, Mayumi Izuka, tweeted her excitement about the upcoming episode on Tuesday, saying, quote, "Finally, I have some happy news. Takashi and Kasumi will appear in the Pokemon Sun and Moon anime on September 14th and 21st. Everybody, I wanted to meet you again forever, my steady." My steady was Misty's catchphrase. She shouts in the anime while throwing a Pokeball. Yeah, Japanese only. I didn't hear her saying that shit in the US version. Ash's old friends will appear in Kanto de Aloha, Takashi to Kasumi. Or, as the English will be translated, Kanto and Aloha, Brock and Misty. Yeah, no shit on that one. And Gym Battle Z Waza versus Mega Shinkai. Or, in English, Gym Battle Z Moves versus Mega Evolution episodes. What kind of new Pokemon do you think the two of them managed to acquire in the 15 years that they haven't been seen together in the show? And the, 15 years for Misty and the, 7 years for Brock. Do you think they caught some new Pokemon? That's an interesting question. We're going to have to wait till the 14th and the 21st of September, though, to find out. But it kind of sucks that they're only going to be around for 2 episodes. I mean, in all honesty, and I want to say, I don't really want to say it this way, but if they're dragging Brock and Misty out into this series, then they know that it's starting to go downhill. They know that they finally have a problem here. It's like, okay, we're losing viewers. We got to come up with some really big stunt to get them to come back. Let's bring back Brock and Misty from the original series. That's it. It's perfect. It's brilliant. Why didn't we think of that before? Because we were too busy coming up with more Pokemon to add to the series and confusing people when they buy the games. That's what we've been doing wrong. Okay. But it's only going to be for 2 weeks that they're going to be back. 2 consecutive episodes, and they're a week apart of each other. So, yeah. To me, it seems like a marketing stunt. Like, okay, the show's going downhill. We got to start picking up the audience somehow. If we do this, get them really excited and pumped, that might help. I mean, I can see Ash getting excited over this. I mean, hell, I would even be excited over this. Brock and Misty coming back, that's a huge event. But the fact that you're doing it in this series tells me that you've run out of ideas, you don't know what you're doing anymore, and or, oh shit, we screwed up big time, and we kind of backed ourselves into a corner. It kind of sucks, but at the same time, it's good for the fans because they're going to get to see something probably before the series goes belly up. I mean, no offense to the show. I mean, they can keep coming up with Pokemon till hell freezes over, but eventually the plot and the show are going to end up dying off because they're not going to be able to integrate the games into the show anymore because they keep changing the show too drastically. I mean, for starters, you have one whole spin-off season, Battle Frontier, where you change the voices from what it originally was. Oh, here's new voices for you. You change the art style when it goes to, what was the one before this one? Before they got to the last one, which I think was it was X and Y. Yeah, you went from black and white, which had the same art style as the original, just a little brighter, to a completely different art style that was more anime. It was definitely the way you needed to go on that. And then you just completely do a whole freaking 360 go backwards and make it cartoonish. Like, yeah, we have no idea what we did. And we can't change it. Too many people have seen it now. I mean, the characters, in my opinion, kind of lost a lot of their luster and a lot of their uniqueness that they had because now the coolness factor that they had is gone. But the fact that you're bringing Ash, Brock, and Misty back together again after 15 years definitely speaks volumes. Like, okay, we're doing this because we know we messed up. We got to get the audience to come back in. If we can get them to enjoy this series again, we can pull a victory out of our hats. Yeah. Why don't you just have Ash win the Pokemon League? Then you'll finally have that. I mean, he was close. Last time was the closest he has ever been to a victory in this damn series from the start. I mean, up until that time, the closest he was Diamond and Pearl when he took on Tobias in the semifinals. That was the closest he had ever been to a victory in the Pokemon League. And this time around, in the last season, he actually got into the finals and lost in the end. So it's still the fact that he's winning, but you could actually create an entirely new anime series after Ash literally wins the Pokemon League. Though I'm kind of getting the feeling that's liable to not be his entire goal in life anymore. Because you kind of have a more happy-go-lucky childlike. Which, fine, yeah, the show needed that. I'm not going to argue that. But the fact that you did it at the part when the show's so far along, it's been on for so long, now all of a sudden you change up the formula on it, you realize, oops, like I said before, oops, we screwed up, and now you're bringing in two of the other characters. Like I said, don't get me wrong, it's a good thing that they're coming back, But I kind of think it's suspicious that you're doing it now. It's like, yeah, we have no choice. And that's what it feels like to me. But then again, that's just my opinion. I don't know. But it just, it doesn't ring a good vibe with me. I just don't know why. Have you ever been a master of Pokemon? Do you think you've caught them all in Pokemon Go? Are you an expert with the raid battles? Well, if you are, good news! Niantic announced on Thursday that it has added the legendary dogs. That's right, Raikou, Entei, and Suicune to its Pokemon Go smartphone game. Which, by the way, you can also play it on tablets, so you can't just claim it's smartphone only, guys. Come on. Come on, people. Think for a moment here, shall we? The three legendary dogs represent electricity, fire, and water, respectively, in the order of which I said them earlier. The Pokemon can be caught in raid battles at gyms and will be available in different locations around the world in coming months. From August 31st to September 30th, you can get Raikou. It will be available in the Americas. Entei will be available in Europe and Africa, and Suicune will be available in the Asia-Pacific region. All three Pokemon will move to different locations every month until October 31st. I'm guessing on October 31st, they're going to turn into pumpkins and just disappear? I mean, yes, in the game they roamed. In the original cartridge games, they roamed. Because that was the one problem, is that if you tried to attack them, you got one hit in. One chance to throw a Pokeball, or literally one attack to try to stun, paralyze them so that they wouldn't move, and had a 50-50 shot of it working. But Niantic also announced that it will hold field testing for its exclusive Raid Battle feature, now titled EX Raid Battle. The developers will send out invitations to try the new system as early as September 6th. The invitation-only EX Raid Battle system, players who recently completed a raid at a gym where an EX Raid Battle will be held will be able to receive invitations to participate. Players will then receive advance notice of when the EX Raid Battle will take place, and Mewtwo, that's right, Mewtwo will be the first Pokemon available through EX Raid Battles. But Niantic said other powerful Pokemon may also start to hatch from the raid eggs found at EX Raid Battles. Yep. So you're finally going to get Mewtwo on top of getting the legendary dogs. But they're integrating a whole new raid battle system into a raid battle system that they didn't need to come up, that they should have had from the start, because they advertised it in the original trailer. Yeah, I know. Stretch your mind all the way back to 2016 for a moment again, and let's think about this. They started the entire thing. The one trailer was everybody ganging up on a Mewtwo in Times Square, New York. Well, here's the thing. If the EX raid battles are what they were aiming for, why didn't they have it ready when the game first came out? Okay, I know, granted, it was probably just to keep like the hype and everything going. Figure, okay, we're going to release all this. If we put too much out there, people are going to get too hyper. They're going to lose it, and we're liable to lose any and all money and everything that we were going to get out of this. You're still getting a shit ton of crap from this. I mean, I don't even know if they even have the trade system up yet. I'm assuming that they do. I mean, I would assume that they do. I don't know. But still, that's kind of impressive. So, the three legendary dogs in the EX raid battles. Two more things for Pokemon Go. Just when your kids are going back to school, yeah, good news. You, the parents, are going to have more time on your hands when they're out of school, as long as they got their homework done, I'm guessing, because they're going to be going on raid battles. The EX raid battles. And trying to catch the legendary dogs, which my guess would probably be the next ones after. I'll probably come out through the EX raid battles, if not just a regular raid battle. I would assume just regular because the legendary birds came out through a regular one anyway. So it's possible. I don't know. But still, it's kind of impressive that they're going through all that trouble just to keep the game going when they've had so many issues, like the Chicago Pokemon event was a disaster. I talked about that. But that they're going to come out with more stuff to keep the game going as long as they can. I swear it almost seems like they want to try to integrate more Pokemon into this as fast as they can to keep people occupied. Yeah, because the next ones would be the Hoenn region. Can't wait to see how you guys put Latios and Latias into this game. That'll be interesting to see.
The Absolutely Completely Random Podcast will be right back, right after I get myself out of this chair. There's got to be some sort of a lever here somewhere.
Just when you thought it was safe to go back on the internet. Just when you thought that your mind couldn't be blown or screwed up anymore. And just when you thought that YouTube couldn't get another voice that didn't give a crap. Well, okay, you pretty much already heard me by now. Hi, I'm Andrew Rhodes, host of the Absolutely Completely Random Podcast, only here on YouTube. Well, I should say only on YouTube, I guess. But anyway, I'm here to tell you about a wonderful thing. It's called Web Designer 18, because that's my YouTube channel, where I host a tremendous amount of videos, from Andrew Rants to Andrew's Theories to the Absolutely Completely Random Podcast, and a few dozen other things in between, including Andrew Reviews, which I'm actually working on more. Somewhat. Anyway, make sure to check out Web Designer 18 on YouTube, because, well, I'm doing all this content for you.
The Absolutely Completely Random Podcast is now back. But yet I'm still stuck. I can't find that damn lever.
Alrighty. So, the new Gundam game, Gundam Versus, is previewing the Zeta Gundam and Stardust Memory characters in the newest videos that have been coming out. The open beta is available this weekend for PlayStation 4 game, and it's launching on September 29th. That's when the game itself will come out for the PS4. Bandai Namco Entertainment America, that's a freaking mouthful, began streaming a new English video for its Gundam vs. PlayStation 4 game on Friday. The video previews the game's Zeta Gundam characters. Yeah, the company streamed a video for Mobile Suit Gundam 0083 Stardust Memory characters on Tuesday. The company previously streamed similar trailers, videos for the Gundam 8th MS team and Mobile Suit Gundam Thunderbolt characters. Thunderbolt actually wasn't too bad of a series. I've been watching that on the Gundam Info YouTube channel, which is the official Gundam channel to watch anything good on YouTube without having to think that you're doing something wrong, because they post it up on there in multiple languages and get yanked down in your country like Gundam Reconquista in G. Still would like to know how that ended. But anyway, Bandai Namco Entertainment America, that's a freaking mouthful, I'm telling you, is hosting an open beta for the game from September 2nd to the 3rd. So if you're listening to this after the 3rd, sorry, you missed out. If you're doing it yet on the weekend, you might have a chance. The game shipped in Japan in July. Bandai Namco Entertainment will release the game in the Americas, Europe, and Southeast Asia on September 29th. It's a pretty long way to go. Those of you who pre-order the game in the U.S. at participating retailers will receive the BN876B Hot Scramble Gundam. Whatever the fuck that is. I've never heard of the stupidest name for a gun. The BN876B Hot Scramble. Gee, I can just see that opening. All of a sudden, you yell out the type that you're in. Hold on. Andrew Rhodes, Hot Scramble Gundam, launching. That would not sound threatening or intimidating to anybody. But you'll also get some bonus DLC characters, including the ASWG-08, Gundam Barbatos, Lupus, and GN005 Gundam Virtue. So I'm guessing that these are ones from Iron-Blooded Orphans. I would assume. I haven't watched any of that yet, other than clips, and even those I had to really take with a grain of salt. The game is going to be featuring more than 90 mobile suits. Unlike other games in the series, here we go. Unlike other games in the series, Gundam Versus is not adapted from an arcade game, but was developed with the PlayStation 4 console in mind. The game contains the series' familiar 2-on-2 battles and has other game modes. The game features boost attack, or boost action, including boost dash, boost step, and the new boost drive, striker select, and awakening battle systems. For the first time in the series, the game has a 6-person online multiplayer feature. Rebuttal. Oh my god! Alright, so, where do you want me to start with that? The game, unlike other games in the series, it's not adapted from an arcade game. Okay, you tell me how Dynasty Warriors was an arcade game, and I'll tell you where you can go shove your hand, or you can stick your head back up. Dynasty Warriors Gundam 2, and I swear they came out with a third one, were definitely good games. You could battle multiple mobile suits. You were basically a freaking god in certain sections of that game. If you could take out 1,000 mobile suits on hard, you might as well just put yourself in the back seat and go, kiss my ass, because you are a badass at that point. That game included boost dashes, boost step, and, well, okay, I don't remember a boost drive in that, but I know boost dash was in there. The boost dash. I know I'm saying boost. It's boost dash. But, I mean, seriously. And I like that. For the first time in the series, the game has a 6-person online multiplayer. Wow! So when you're not bored playing it to yourself, you can play with 5 other people and try to beat their asses and go, I am the best. I am the best. You can kiss my ass. You can kiss my ass. That's basically what you're going to do. I just gotta get it. It contains the series' familiar 2-on-2 battles. Well, then what the hell's the point of it? Not every single game had 2-on-2 battles, only the weird ones had the 2-on-2 battles. I mean, okay, Encounters in Space had 2-on-2 battles, but at the same time, they also had multiple battles where you're taking on NPC characters, like Unmanned Zaku's. You took on the 3 Black Tri-Stars. I remember that. You also had... There are other Gundam games. Federation Versus Zeon. Gundam Versus Zeta Gundam. So many other ones other than just that one. And they didn't all have 2-on-2 battles. Come on. That's BS and BS and BS. I would try my BS meter, but it's in the shop. It's shipped in Japan. How successful has it been since it got shipped in Japan? That's a good question. I think some people should look into that. But you can definitely tell that they're trying to sugarcoat this, because if you pre-order the game at participating retailers, you'll receive some very impressive DLC. Why? Because in my opinion, it seems like they know the game's gonna suck before it comes out. First off, if you're having a Gundam game where you're having multiple characters from different Gundam series in it, then you're gonna have a storyline. That's just a goddamn given at this point. You're gonna have a storyline. Federation versus Zeon had a storyline. Encounters in Space had story mode. Dynasty Warriors Gundam 2 had a story mode. Even an original story mode. So, I don't want to hear that, oh, well, we're coming out with this and it's going to be something similar to... No. You did this already with some of the other games, but I guess you just want to pretend they don't exist. Well, got news for you. They do. Want to know why? I've played a majority of the Gundam games, pal. PlayStation 2. I played Federation vs. Zeon, Gundam vs. Zeta Gundam, Encounters in Space, Dynasty Warriors Gundam 2. I even played that abomination of an RPG called MS Saga's A New Dawn. Yeah. That thing was a freaking train wreck. I almost feel like I should become the next angry video game nerd. Hey, James Rolfe, if you're listening, I'll be more than happy to take your title. First thing I'll do is I'll rip the Gundam games to shreds. There are some major problems with some of those games. And I mean some major problems. But that being said, it is a good thing that they are bringing out newer content, that they're coming out with more stuff for it, and that they're showing you up front, hey, these are what we're going to be having. You're going to get characters from Zeta Gundam. Okay? Where's Double Zeta? Where's the original Mobile Suit Gundam? I mean, I would assume the original Gundam series is in this. Gundam Wing, Mobile Fighter G Gundam. See, you already said you have Thunderbolt in this. What about Unicorn? I'm assuming Riken, Gisa, and G can kiss off in this one. You got the 8th MS team. You want to do Stardust Memory. Let's see here. Yeah, okay. Where's Double Zeta? Turn A Gundam. Where's that one? So you got Turn A. I know I'm missing some in here somewhere. Iron-Blooded Orphans. Although I would assume that one's a given in this one, taking that you're getting some Gundams that I would assume are from that series. There's just so many of them to choose from, and you're like, oh yeah, this and that and this and that and this and that. And you're going about how, the stuff is unlike other games in the series. What, that means that there's more Gundam Versus games? Or you're going all Gundam games in general? Because all Gundam games in general, like I said, there's more that have been less than 2-on-2 battles. I mean, I think the only Gundam game I didn't play for the PlayStation 2 was that Zaku one. That was only because I couldn't find it. I mean, I barely found a copy of Gundam vs. Zeta Gundam. Federation... Journey to Jaburo! I played that one. Crap, I just thought of that one. Journey to Jaburo was another one. That all had nothing to do, but all that was literally the original Mobile Suit Gundam series. And that sure as hell wasn't 2-on-2 battles. That was me getting my ass whooped by multiple opponents. I remember taking on the Black Tri-Stars. The freaking flying fortress in the sky that I had to figure out. The only way I figured out how to defeat it is I had to use the ball and chain. Literally jump up into the air, hover for a second, land on the damn thing, bash it with the freaking thing so it would take some damage head on, jump off, land on the ground, and watch it crash into the ground so long as it didn't crash into the White Horse. See, I remember this stuff. But yeah, Gundam Versus, whole new stuff's coming out. I'm hoping the game's going to be good. I'm almost tempted now to try to find a El Cheapo PS4 just to play this thing, just to see how bad it is. I don't know. But then again, that would require me to spend money on a brand new game system. That's probably going to cost me... Yeah, nah, that ain't worth it already. No way, ain't worth it already. But seriously, though, I mean, Gundam is a good series. Just... don't up and say that you have other games that are like that unless you actually remember the games that you came out with beforehand. A lot of those things were staples in a PS2 library. Okay, so if you ever grew up back in the good old days of The Simpsons, And I mean back when it originally aired in some of the earlier seasons. Or you just happen to watch FXX's all day 24/7 Simpsons marathon that stretched out for like 2-3 weeks. Well, you probably heard of Alf Clausen, and I do hope I'm pronouncing the name correctly. Well, unfortunately, Mr. Clausen, or Alf, has been fired from The Simpsons after 27 years so the show could pursue a different kind of music. Yes, I guess Fox wants to get some of that hippie rap in there so that they can get more of the younger crowd to start tuning into The Simpsons. Alf Clausen was responsible for such great hits in The Simpsons like, and I quote, "We Do the Stonecutters theme, See My Vest, and Chimpan A to Chimpanzee." The Troy McClure, I'm singing this on the Planet of the Apes musical so I can get my ass in Hollywood again. It's just sad, though, that somebody that's been with the show for almost the whole length of the show was fired because they want to bring in a whole new style of music. Oh, that's great. So I take it the old formula, if it ain't broke, don't fuck with it, just doesn't work anymore, huh? Because to me it seems like, it works, but we don't want it to work this way. So, yeah, we're done with you. Get lost, get out of here, you're a hack, you're a has-been. I like the Stonecutters theme. I always did like that. In fact, I have 2 CDs of Simpson music, of music from The Simpsons, I should say, and a lot of it's from the earlier seasons. And the Stonecutters theme's on there. I don't think See My Vest is, and I don't think Chimpan 80 Chimpanzees, but I know the Stonecutters theme is on there because I like listening to that. But either way, it's just sad news coming from The Simpsons, which at this rate, let's face it, if they manage to make it 30 years, congratulations to them. I mean, they're the longest running animated series in television history. Nobody's going to beat them. They're still going for the longest time because they take real life events and integrate them into the show. They've taken the South Park approach to this. Because that's what South Park does. Although Trey Parker and Matt Stone have claimed that they're not going to be doing that anymore because it's becoming too much of a pain. But still, that's your entire show is based upon. At least that was an article that I read last year, a couple comments that were made about it. But that's what your entire show is based upon. But still, it's sad that after 27 years, they just throw your ass out on the wayside. It's like, yeah, you gave us some good tunes. People were interested. Get out. We want some new, fresh music in here. We want to go a different route, and you ain't it. I'm wondering if there's more to this than meets the eye, and that's not a Transformers reference. That just, maybe something bad happened. Maybe there was a falling out, and they just don't want to come out and say it. Hey, whatever the reason, I dig it. I understand. We're not going to push you, but still, that's kind of dirty pool there. I mean, 27 years the guy gave the person. I shouldn't even say guy. It could be a woman too. 27 years they gave you, and you just throw them out on their ass. That's just wrong. But then again, The Simpsons is owned by Fox, and well, Fox is known for doing stuff like that. It's so freaking sad. But I mean, the Stonecutters theme alone is one of the best that has ever been on The Simpsons. I mean, you had that one. You have Apu singing songs, usually some goes. I mean, if you really watch the earlier episodes of The Simpsons, you can see a lot of good musical numbers that they did. And a lot of them are really well made. I mean, the music is just spot on. The characters are singing it just perfectly. They're on cue with one another. It's just really well made. But it's just sad, like I said, that after 27 years, to get thrown basically out on your ass. Because I'm assuming they want younger music. So if they get Ed Sheridan on this to start doing music, I think they might as well just kiss their fans goodbye. Or maybe they're going to go the Justin Bieber route. Let's have Justin Bieber do music for The Simpsons. We can officially kiss our fan base goodbye if we do that. But I wouldn't doubt that that's what they're thinking. Something along the lines of something that's more hip to the audience now, and try to get the younger crowd into this. Whereas you should try to get a combination of both. Something that keeps the older crowd, which has been watching your series, and the younger generation, which will still watch your series. Try to get them involved, but at the same time, don't alienate the elderly from it. Don't alienate the older generation that's been watching it, because then you won't have a series anymore. But that's just my humble opinion, and after all, I just am one person. But yeah, it's still sad. 27 years. Though I'm pretty sure they'll bounce back. I hope so anyway, though, because that's, like I said, that's just really, really sad. All right, everybody, and that's going to do it this week for the 1-year anniversary of the Absolutely Completely Random Podcast. My God, I cannot believe it's been a year already. Well, as I said earlier, I still got some Dr. Pepper left. Here's to another 5 years. Let's hope let's even go one step further. Here's to another 5 years. Let's hope we get to number 6. But let's just hope that we still remain here for many more years to come. Cheers. But anyway, like I said, that's pretty much going to do it for me this week. But here's the thing. If you have some topic ideas you'd like me to discuss about here on the podcast, let me know. Send me a message or an email at acrpodcast@gmail.com. You can also send them to me via Twitter, @OtakuRoads on Twitter. Just, tweet them to me. You can also use the hashtag ACRPodcastTopics. And if you have any ideas for improvements on the podcast, we're already a year into this, so obviously I'm doing something right, let me know. acrpodcast@gmail.com, or tweet them to me, @OtakuRoads on Twitter. And until next week, this is Andrew Rhodes saying it's been a blast, and thank you so much for letting me into your lives. Until next time, bye everybody, and have a lovely, lovely day.